Very warm welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Hope you are having a great start to your day. I had a wonderful day. Yesterday we had to call off session at the last minute because it was conflicting with Swamiji's angels meeting. Hope you are one of the angels. If not, do check out our team on the JK Oak fundraiser page, and you could always enroll as an angel or participate in that fundraising activity that we are doing for Swamiji's dream project, the university project. So let's get started with our opening prayers like we always do. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening to all of you. A very warm welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. So let's get started with our soul soup segment like we always do. We are talking about the mind management series, how to befriend our mind. So let's continue on that. So last time we spoke about leveraging the graces that we have already received from God before we can ask for more grace, utilize what we have received, and then we can get more. So God has endowed us with a lot of resources. If we think deeply about it, we'll continue to build on that. So more grace. First, let's utilize all the graces that we have received, right from the fact that we wake up every morning, we have this earth to roam upon, we have an able body which itself can cost billions, right? People will not trade off a million or a billion rupee, for their eyes or hands or legs, or which enables us to achieve so many wonderful things in life. And then we get so many other graces in life as well if we think deeply about it. So today we will continue to build on that and see if we can develop a little more appreciation for all the things that we get in life that we normally take for granted. So let's continue on that. Give me a sec. I'll move to the next slide. But did you know that you are wonderful? You're full of wonder. Okay? If you don't agree, then maybe in next 5 minutes you would. So let's understand this wonder. So our eyes that we get. So this eye, it has 125 million photoreceptors that convert light into electric signals. Okay, that is how it has been created. Now, they help us see the different colors of the rainbow, the crimson sky of the setting sun, the plumes of the peacock, the flight of the eagle, so many things, the dewdrops on the lotus leaf. And isn't it an exceptional grace that we need to be delighted about? Think about it. Not having those eyes itself is a big deal. It's a huge grace of God. A life without eyes, you can only imagine what it would be. So that's a huge grace if you think about it. Okay, if you still don't agree that you are wonderful, let's continue to build on it. Then, okay, just 1 year. There's another one, okay, which is, so we have 2 ears, and each ear is fitted with 30,000 fiber sounds, from which enables us to hear from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Now, dogs can hear ultrasonic as well, which is called ultrasonic to ultrasonic range, and certain species can hear later than. But if we were to hear every minute sound, it would also make our life complicated, right? So God has given us just the right frequency to hear. Now, it's not just that. This sound includes the rustling in the wind, how nice it is. You go out, The Dallas, one of the few things you can enjoy here in Dallas. No, one of the few. I mean, many things you can enjoy here. But the rustling of the wind, you go out in nice weather, how nice it is. The ocean waves hitting the rocks, our ears can hear that. Acoustics of a theatrical symphony, if you go and enjoy a beautiful show, whichever music you enjoy. And the spasmodic thuds, a woodpecker when it is pecking on the wood, that is also makes a very nice sound as well against the tree trunk. And this is also an invaluable gift that God has given us. So if we can see and hear, it is a huge mercy, huge grace of God. We should have a lot of gratitude for that. Let's move on. Tongue. Now, other than, of course, enjoying rasgulla, jalebi, samosa, coffee, chai, whatever it is, this tongue gives us an ability, along with our sound box, to heal, console, uplift, entertain, cheer, educate, joke around, laugh, make people laugh. Isn't it a huge gift that God has given us? If we did not have that, we could not even soothe, comfort, or make other people feel happy. Right? Words can actually make a lot of people, it can heal people as well. That is also a huge gift as God has given us, that gift of tongue, right? Not just for tasting stuff, but be able to speak and soothe people, comfort people. So that is also a huge gift. What else then? Yeah. Now, the brain, in the neurons that combine, we have 100 billion neurons that combine to make trillions of circuits. Okay, that is how our brain works. And this gives us the ability to appreciate, the Upanishadic knowledge that we are assimilating right now. If we did not have brains, if we did not have these neurons, we'll not be able to appreciate this knowledge. Now, aesthetics of Shakespearean plays, if you are, a lot into literature, and some of that is the reason you can appreciate that, because you can appreciate the beauty, some of the beautiful literature that has been created. The logic of a computer software, if you are an IT engineer, the ethical ramifications of a particular situation that you are in, and the legality of our actions to become a good citizen, all that is enabled through these billion neurons and the trillion circuits that they follow. That is also a huge gift. If that still does not fill you with wonder, then the blood circulation, it flows nearly 100,000 kilometers of arteries and capillaries to deliver oxygen and nutrients to almost 49 trillion cells in our body. Now, just to put it in perspective, the Earth itself, end to end, if the circumference of Earth is 20, close to 25,000 miles, which is about 40,000 kilometers. It is more than that, twice, 2.5 times more. That much distance are, these arteries and veins cover within our body, and 49 trillion cells are there in the body. Then the skeletal system that we have, it has 650 muscles, 206 bones. Now somebody may say one has been demoted from being a bone to something else, which is fine, 205 or 207. But then this is also fascinating, and 11 kilometers of nerve fiber that we have all synchronized to work under at our command. That is how amazing our body is. So we are a walking, talking, living wonder at every moment. And the organs in our body, they are performing such complex functions that if these activities to be replicated or simulated by machines, it would require a factory of a size of a warehouse to perform these functions. So it is very evident that we are beneficiaries of abundant grace that we take for granted, right? We simply eat, sleep, and think, okay, I don't have so much in life. So yesterday I spoke about every organ you wouldn't even trade for lakhs and crores of rupees. That is how precious they are. So we are all wonderful, and then all these graces that we have received, the human life and such a complex machinery which is quietly working and serving at our command, we should really have a lot of gratitude for it and utilize all the graces that we have received, including this human body, which is very, very, very precious, to continue to march forward in our spiritual journey and not fritter it away. So hopefully it fills you up with a little bit of wonder, if not a lot of it. With that said, let's move on to our topic of discussion, which is Bhagavad Gita shloka that we are on. And let's continue on our discussion. So I'm going to recite this shloka and then we will continue to discuss this as well. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantimapnoti naishtikim ayukta kamakareణ phale sakto nibadhyate. Let's take a few hands.
राधे राधे भैया जी.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Riya ji.
Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim ayukta kamakarena phale shakto nibhadyate.
Nice, thank you, Riya ji. Let's take a couple of more hands.
अपर्णा जी राधे राधे.
राधे राधे. युक्त कर्म फलं त्यक्त्वा शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम् अयुक्तः कामकारेण फले सक्तो निबध्यते. Thank you so much, Ranjan.
Let's take one more hand.
लक्ष्मी जी राधे राधे.
Radhe Radhe everyone. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nibhadyate. Radhe
Very
Radhe.
nice. Thank you, Lakshmi ji. All right, I see Michelle back. Welcome back, Michelle. All right, so in this shloka, Lord is saying that offering the results of all activities to God, the Karam yogis attain everlasting peace. Whereas those who, being impelled by their desires, work with selfish motive, become entangled because they are attached to the fruits of their actions. This is the shloka that we have been discussing. So let's get started. Oh, April. We missed the first April. Okay. We did not get an opportunity to talk about it. So by the way, every day is pretty much an April Fool Day for us. Okay. Why? I mean, it's pretty evident. Today, not yesterday, was April Fool's Day, and Maya is fooling us every day. That is why, right, in our conditioned state, we are getting tricked by Maya because we are trying to find happiness. Maya is saying, come, 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 I'm going to give you happiness. And we say, all right, they're coming. So it is tricking us every day. So pretty much every day is a April Fool Day for us, or pretty much the entire human life, until we start turning our back towards God. And across lifetimes, we continue to get fooled by Maya. The day we make a resolve and wake up to the fact that we are being made an April Fool pretty much every day, then I think the journey would be pretty much accomplished or the job will be done. By the way, the first official April Fool Day, anybody knows? When did it happen? We have a take on it. I don't know if it was officially designated as an April Fool Day or not, but has anybody known about this Mohini avatar when the Samudra Manthan happened? So God tricked, okay, he tricked the Asuras. So what happened when the Amrit came? Both the Suras and Asuras, when the Samudra Manthan, the churning of ocean was happening, they wanted to have that Amrit because it would have immortalized them. So then one of the Asuras, he basically went ahead and sat on the side of Devas, and Mohini avatar took place. God actually became a very beautiful woman, and that is why it's called a Mohini avatar. Now you can just imagine God is called, Madan is Kamdev. Kamdev's name is called Madan, and God is called Madan Mohan. He's one who can even attract a Cupid. That is how beautiful or attractive God is. And Madan Mohan is God because he can attract even a Cupid, and Madan Mohini is, of course, when he can take on a female avatar, which is Radharani, right? So it was so beautiful that the devatas, the asuras, they got swayed. Okay, so he made a fool out of them. So you can call it as an April Fool Day. By the way, God is so attractive that when he sees his own reflection, he falls in love with that itself. It's kind of an interesting concept, but this is how it is. Why? Because there is no comparison, and he has absolutely no peer pressure whatsoever because there's nobody equivalent to him, right? But yeah, this is how the asuras were tricked, and then the nectar or the that came out of the ocean, the amrit, fell into the right hand, which was delivered to the devatas, to the rightful owners. Nevertheless, now let's get to the shloka. So peace is what we are talking about. Let's talk a little bit about peace and love. Okay, we keep on talking about peace, the global peace, and we should have harmony across the world and stuff like that. So let's try to understand this concept a little more deeply from a scriptural, spiritual perspective, and maybe a little bit of discussion before we move forward. So if you look at the world, it is made up of pieces, right? Different pieces, different countries. I mean, you can divide it in countries, boundaries, ethnicities, cultures, um, caste, creeds. You can go as granular as you want, but end of the day, it is a sum total of different pieces in the world, right? And what are these pieces? These are the pieces, right? Different people who constitute and make this whole world. When we talk about anything at a world level, uh, uh, from a planetary standpoint, we talk about, right, 7.5 billion people are there, and so many countries are there, 200 plus countries are there. So there are different pieces or units constituting this entire world. Now, from a scriptural standpoint, if we truly deeply think about this, right, global peace and concept, the very concept of having a peaceful coexistence in the entire, not a coexistence, but a the concept of peace in the entire world. So global peace through peaceful pieces. This is the only way to go about it. And here, Lord Krishna is talking about the peace. How does that peace come? If think about it, if everybody at an individual level is at peace, automatically the global peace will be attained. Okay, so through peaceful pieces, you can attain that. But let's say there is a turmoil going on even at one place. We cannot attain that perfect peace. We may think that we are far away from somewhere. Now, for example, if you look at it, if there is some kind of a disturbance going on in Middle East, or for that matter in that Russia, that territory, that Kremlin and all that stuff is going on right now with Ukraine. Any part of the world, if there is some kind of a turmoil going on and we think we are immune from it, doesn't work that way. So the peace index of the world is a function of peace happening at a unit pretty much at all the levels. And even if one part, it's just like, think of it, this whole world like a body. If your body, even one part is troubling, can you have peace? You cannot have peace. And this is how it's meant to be like that. Right? China, any country now, not just because the global economy is so tightly coupled right now, one country can pull down the entire economy. That is one part of it. But even otherwise, this very concept, right, like we take some kind of a garbage from our home and we dump it out in the street, thinking we are immune from it, doesn't work. That it will come back and bite us as well. So this similarly, for us to be peaceful, everything around us would be peaceful. Now we think about the territorial disputes that happen like between India and Pakistan, and people think that if there's unrest in that country, it will be good for it. It doesn't work that way. Only when you have peaceful neighbors can you have peace of mind as well. And end of the day, it all boils down to the buck stops at us. Only if individuals can attain that peace. Can we create peace for anybody else? We cannot. Only if individuals can attain that peace through spiritual upliftment, then only the global peace, that very concept, the what you call that, the esoteric concept, or the cherished or the utopian concept of a peaceful world can be achieved. Otherwise, there is no other means. And Lord Krishna is very clearly telling how can you attain peace. Let's continue to build on that. Now here is who we all are, right? We are part of this whole world, community. So individually, we are fighting a battle. And who's this first soldier? The first soldier is none other than us. Okay, so individually, we have to fight a battle. Who do we need to fight the battle with? We need to find a battle with something which is inside us. It's not any external demon, okay, that we are fighting a battle with. And what are these inner demons? Anger, lust, greed, hatred, envy, etc. So this battle, when we have individually conquered it, right? Shankaracharya ji, he was asked, um, Jagat Chitem Kain, who will win the war? And said, Mano Hiyen, the one who conquers his mind. And if each one is able to spiritually conquer these demons, which are not on the outside, okay, we fight other people, politics, boardroom battles, this and that, all that is fine. But these are the real demons, and each individual can actually conquer and fight that and attain peace. This world will automatically become peaceful. And these demons are not somebody who are on the outside, they are ones which are sitting in our mind only. And spirituality is all about conquering these demons from within. And Bhagavad Gita certainly lays out a framework for us, gives us the practical tools. Like I say, Bhagavad Gita is both Shastra and Brahma Vidya. One is it is a divine knowledge, a manual for human life. And it is also a Yoga Shastra where it gives us practical tools on how to practice it on a day-to-day basis so that we can conquer these demons and start diminishing the intensity or the vice-like grip these demons have over us, loosening that grip over us. We can reduce that or diminish the intensity these demons exert upon us. So hopefully it's making sense. This battle that we are talking about, it's an inner battle. Nothing that thing has to be understood. We are not fighting a battle on the outside. And when we conquer that, the world in itself it is how it's meant to be, right? It's a veritable form of God itself. It is created for a purpose and it has a perfect design. And at that time, you make peace with it. And the job is done. You are beyond that cycle at that point when you conquer all of these things. And how do we do that? Now let's move on. Yes, Sandhya, you had a question.
So, because it's an inner battle, it is independent. Like, so my peace is independent of someone else's peace. Is it right to say that?
True. Depending upon how much grip any of these have over you. Some people may be struggling with anger, some might be with lust, somebody with greed, somebody with hatred, envy based on their sanskar. So everybody would have their own customized course created for them in particular life, right? Depending upon the lessons they need to learn. So yeah, your peace, end of the day, the peaceful state is the same for all, right? When we have conquered each one of it. But in the journey, everybody is having their own set of battles as such based on their past sanskars and how much they have fueled any of these enemies based on the choices that they have been making throughout. So
it is a futile and baseless statement to say that I am not at peace because of this, that, and this, person, circumstance, or whatever, right?
it's called a spiritually immature statement. When we say I'm not at peace because of something external. We are used to saying that. It's easy for our mind to put the blame or shift the focus on somebody else, but it is spiritually an immature statement. We have to accept and admit that. If we say that, it's like um, we are being naive, spiritually naive. If we say that, we have to take control over these things. We only are responsible for the mood and the peace that we experience or the lack of peace that we experience. We only are responsible for that. We cannot pass the buck to anybody on that. So it's an inner battle, and that is why I said the spiritual journeys or the self transformation journey is one of the most exciting projects you would ever undertake. One of the most exciting and fulfilling projects you would ever undertake, because every day there will be newer and fresher realizations, And you would see as you keep on progressing on this path and you start breaking the shackles or the vice-like grip some of these things have over you, it is very liberating and very refreshing. Uh, your inner feeling would corroborate and reinforce that as we continue to progress on this path. Yes, Shyamji, wanted to add something?
This is concern from Prabhat. Is it we have to control these enemies or stay away from them? What is the right way?
We have to control these enemies or
Stay away.
yeah, so both, I would say, both the tolerate like Lord Krishna has said in 2.7, I believe. Shitoshna Sukha, he said that Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhada Agama Payuno Nitya Tansti Tikshasva Bharata. Tansti Tikshasva means tolerate. Okay, one is tolerate. How would you tolerate? You can tolerate only something that you can observe is happening to you. If you're simply participating based on the triggers and impulses, then you are simply reacting. The ability to respond comes when you can take a bit of a back seat from that emotion, right? It's like that synapses between the stimuli and the response has to be broken. Even if you are able to introduce a slight gap, a few microns, a lot of good things can happen. Now you're creating space for divinity to flow through. And that can only be introduced through sakshi bhav or witness consciousness. And where would that come from? That would come from understanding the spiritual principles. Like when we read Bhagavad Gita, we understand the deeper concepts, we understand the knowledge. Then you can take a back seat and not become a participant in all of this drama that can unfold. Anything can be a trigger for any of these emotions. So we have to tolerate, we have to stay away, mindful practice, and then we have to take a pop in a pill also, right? So when we are suffering from something, we have to take a medicine, and that medicine is bhakti, devotion. When you do that, it's like a flanking approach. They call it flanking. Why we call it flanking? Because um, it's a sports concept, I believe, in football. When somebody's running with the ball, that American football, rugby, right? So three people will converge on him, from one from here, one from here, one from here. So they converge. It's called flanking, so that that person cannot march forward. Same thing, we have to flank it. We have to take witness consciousness, we have to tolerate, and you have to take bhakti. One of these three will catch it and start diminishing the impact of these negative emotions on us. Hope it makes sense. Everything we have to do. Okay, I got a thumbs up, which is great. All right, so this battle for peace is going on. This is the battle, and this actually, if you think about it, this battle for peace, when we, this will automatically lead to the global peace that we keep on talking about. So if you think about it, every country, every person, from a spiritual perspective, has to be at peace for us to attain that global peace. Even if one person is not happy, is miserable, they are in a country which is suffering because of economic backwardness, or because of terrorism, or because they have gone bankrupt, or something, then we cannot hope for a global peace every 100%. So it is a utopian concept, of course. Okay, it doesn't have to be like that. But from a spiritual perspective, when we think, our boundaries are very limited. If I'm happy, my country is happy, I'm doing well, I don't have to care about anything else, is not a correct way of understanding it. It's only when everything in this whole planet is at peace will you be able to attain that peace. Otherwise you cannot. Okay, this is very simple. It's just like, again, the good way to understand it is, think about your body. You cannot say, if one part of it, insignificant part of it, has pain, rest of the body I'll still be happy. No, you cannot be. It'll still hurt you. So same thing goes with the peace index of the world. It has to be attained through peaceful pieces only. That's the only way to attain that. And Lord Krishna is giving the peace formula in this. And what is that peace formula? The reason we are not attaining, we are struggling with these demons right now, the internal battle that we're talking about, is because we are wrapped up in our own selfish pursuits, and we have turned our back towards God and devotion. So if you look at it, this is who we are. right? So we are facing our own petty desires that we have, accomplishments that we need in our life. So this is where we are facing. And God is in this direction, prayer and thinking about God. So we have turned our back towards God. Now what needs to happen? So no God, no peace. Only when you know God, you will attain peace. So what needs to happen actually is that now, so yeah, ayukt means not united with God consciousness. This is how we are right now. And this means that we are striving for mundane desires, but worldly stuff. I should have a American dream, get a house, get a car, should have money, and all that mundane stuff. We continue to spend our life thinking about these things alone, and these cravings. This is a manifestation of lust only. That's not just limited to the sensual desires alone, and it's the rewards of action that we crave for. They bind us in reactions of work, and they make us keep on repeating in this cycle of life and death, or the samsar that we call it. What needs to truly happen is this. Okay, we need to turn our back. We need to be facing God. Now, I could not move this guy, so I moved God. Okay, so but yeah, we need to turn our back towards God. So that is the real concept. When we know God, we will know peace. And that is the only way to get out of this circle of life and death, basically. We need to shift our direction so that we are facing God, and doing things in God consciousness for the pleasure of God, as opposed to uh, going for the puny desires, petty desires that we have. Now, yeah, I think there's a saying also which says that it's in dying of dying of our little self, that we are born to eternity. So we have to kill that little self that keeps on craving for things. Yes, Sandhya, you had a question?
So there is a comment from Monica D. That is why the phrase from Bharatiya follow this phrase, which is Vasudev Kutumbakam, a Sanskrit phrase from ancient Indian scriptures that means the whole world is one, my family.
Vasudeva Kutumbakam, very true.
And I had a question related to this point only, actually. So like my peace is independent of anything external, right?
True.
And at the same time, I think if I heard it right, you said that if something else is not at peace, I cannot be at peace. Like every unit cannot be at peace if all units are not at peace. So I am getting confused.
Okay, that was the whole intent, to confuse you further, and then so the point here is your peace, basically. Yeah. See, it's like from a material perspective, right? We have to think, expand our bubble with that regards. Okay, with regards to our understanding that if I think about myself alone from a material perspective, from a spiritual perspective, of course, it's an individual journey, right? Your peace would be agnostic of your external situation and circumstances. Completely, that is what you need to do. So that is where the world is not going anywhere, and we'll never have that utopian perfect world that we keep striving for. These conflicts will continue. But if everybody could actually wake up to the fact, the deeper aspect of it, then only we can have that perfect world, which is probably a long shot, or I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But
So
yes, I
anyway,
get your
that
point.
need not be the goal, right? Like the goal is to be at peace
The
at
goal
our
is to
level.
God has sent us to put oxygen mask on ourselves, not to give
Correct.
others oxygen mask. Okay. If in the process you could do that, sure. But that's not the goal. So problem happens when we start roaming around and thinking of correcting the world around us, right? Thinking that we can correct people around, or we can attain that peace through laws, regulations, making rules, doing treaties, bilateral, trilateral, or forming a European Union or things like that. It's not going to work out. Okay, if you even if you look at it from an economic standpoint, these cycles, they keep on repeating. Yeah, people say communism is the way to go, where we equally distribute stuff to everyone. And what happens? Complacency creeps in. People think, okay, whether we work or not, we are going to get our stuff. So that does not give us a peaceful solution. What happens? Unproductivity starts breeding in. Then people say, no, no, no. So you know what? Better than this is capitalism, meritocracy based. Then that capitalism takes over. You know, it's a cyclical process. Then what happens? The divide between haves and have-nots starts increasing. Why? Because human greed take over. The previous time in communism or Marxism, human laziness took over. Okay, complacency. In meritocracy system, now human greed takes over. Very few people they start, take holding onto the
Capitalism.
money 80-20 rule, right? And then people become greedy. Greed takes over at that point. So then everything becomes, if you think about the US system here, it is capitalism, but if you can't have a good healthcare or education, which is so expensive, what's the point of being one of the most developed nations in the world, right? Greed has taken over. So nothing is perfect. Why? Because humans are not perfect. There's no problem in the system as such, but there's a problem in the way humans implement it or the way they see it, because complex laziness will take over or greed will take over, and then the system keeps on. It's a cyclical process they keep on following, right? So the whole idea is, even from a spiritual standpoint, is forget about systems. All that stuff is fine if we only work on ourselves, be the change you want to see in the world, like, right? You've heard about that. Only if you work on ourselves, that's the only way to get closer to that principle of perfect peace that we are looking for. And we can't fix the world anyways. God has not sent us here to fix the world. He sent us to fix ourselves. So when you show your report card, like it is said, life is a preparation and death is an examination. In that exam, when our report card will be opened, we'll not be given credit for what we have done for our things around, and how we tried to help somebody, and how we became emotional when somebody was crying on our shoulder. And I said, all that is fine. What have you done for yourself? Tell me that. That was the main reason you were sent to this earth. Okay, so that will not make for a good story at that point. So we need to work on ourselves. It's an inner battle that we need to conquer, and that is the most pleasing to God and Guru as well when we work on that. Yes, in the process, if we can influence somebody positively, sure, but that's not the sole goal of our life as such. If gurus and people come, like saints come, for them might be, they might come with an express purpose of doing that only. But for ordinary mortals like us, our purpose should be to work on ourselves and improve ourselves and please God and Guru through our acts, deeds, and thoughts. Yes, Shyamji.
Viralji has a concern. How do you know if you break the cycle? Viralji, are you there? Can you please elaborate? Uh, Viralji, shall I unmute you? Shall I? Isn't bhai, shall I do that?
Sorry, yes, go ahead. Okay, now
Vir-
today, hold on. Okay, yeah. So I would like to invite Rajji, if you are there, the genuine Rajji, to come on audio and talk if you have any concerns. Yes, sorry, go ahead, Shyamji. Please go ahead, finish off your thought.
Viralji is, I guess, not there. Yeah, he's
He's
there.
not there.
Viralji,
Yeah, I'm
Viralji,
here.
can you
Can you
hear
guys
me?
hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, please.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so my question was, how do you know if you break the cycle of this, life and death?
If you break the cycle,
Yeah,
um, it is called the state. If you break the cycle of life and death, then you are not obligated to come back to this material world anymore. You're not obligated to. Now, how would you know that? Um, I mean, I don't know if it can be articulated or not. I mean, at least I haven't experienced it yet. But what it means is that you have basically hit a jackpot, and at that point, you have attained that perfect knowledge, perfect bliss, and perfect peace. There's nothing, you have nowhere to go. One day you will wake up and you have nowhere to go, nothing to do. Okay, and you are in that perpetual bliss. And then after going through this life, there's no looking back. You don't have to come back here. I don't know how you would feel at that moment or not, but a lot of work has to go in for us to attain that state. But yeah, that's what it says, that you go across the cycle of life and death through God's grace. And when that happens, then you are in perpetual bliss. You are basically, God makes you like Satchidanand. So even though you might be in this body, you are Jivan Mukt at that point. Um, If you experience any of that perpetually, not occasionally, then you're already there. But it's a very difficult state to attain. Until we have become purified, God will not grace us, and until God graces us, we cannot reach that stage. But what it means is you become God-like at that point. God has actually taken you out of this cycle. You are just going through the motions because you have a prarabdha in this human body. And once you complete this human life, and you can actually, you would even be able to know when your life years are being sucked out, right? Because now you have become transcended this body also. So this pain and all that stuff does not matter to you anymore. You have transcended that pain and these bodily perceptions and the fleeting feelings that come along with it as well. So something like that, I would imagine. But what God realization at that means is that you have become Satchidanand at that point, like God. So that is that state.
Amen. Thank you so much. There's also a doubt from Rajiv ji initially. He was asking, are there any instances from Indian epics where Mother Radha showed forgiveness and compassion for deliberate wrongdoers, like Mother Sita showed? Rajiv ji, are you there? Rajiv ji?
So if we, yeah, I don't know about in Radha Avatar in particular, there are instances or not. But if we deeply understand this concept, God is one, right? And his Shaktis also. So God and in his Shakti, it can manifest in different forms. So for example, Lord Krishna, Vishnu, Ram, Shiv, all the avatars, they are one, they are same. Similarly, the Shakti aspect of it is also has different manifestations. It can come in form of Radha, Sita, Parvati, Kali, Durga, and there are tons of stories of Mother Durga killing demons and stuff like that because she's the in charge of the material universe, right? So when God has to do justice-based things to them and do kill demons and stuff like that, they will typically take on an avatar like Durga or Kali and all, right? But when the mother is in loving form, or that sweetness, that manifestation of sweetness happens in the form of Radha. So they don't do the material work of killing demons and all that stuff. Typically, it is said that even Krishna, he has his planetary expansions which take care of governing this universe, like Vishnu and other planetary expansion of his, and he simply does the premdan and plays flute. So similarly, Mother Radha is simply a Kripa avatar and just bestows love and grace to the devotees. If demons have to be killed, then she may take on a planetary expansion as Durga or Mother Kali or something like that. But for Radha,
You would say there are no direct evidences of Mother Radha Rani of showing any compassion.
I haven't come
Okay.
across. It's yeah.
Thank you so much, Vinay. Thank you so much. Yeah. Kumar ji, Radhe Radhe.
Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman. So my thoughts on peace within ourselves and peace in the world, right? Of course, Vasudev Kutumbakam, someone said about that. Can the world be at total peace? I don't know. Probably at dissolution, probably. But generally, if you see, the world is not always at peace, right? Some part of the world is simmering with problems and all that stuff. So how do we deal with that? Does that mean that we cannot have peace? No, that doesn't mean that. We can still have peace. So what we do is we do all the right things, right? All the right things in the sense that even, for example, let's say, for example, always we talk about Pakistan, right? Pakistan, we have a slightly bitter this one of what happened in history. But let's say, for example, there is an earthquake in Pakistan. Now, what one should feel is empathy for those people rather than saying, Pakistan, they deserve it. So when you put that negative thought in our mind, then again, our peace is affected. So for what we can do best is be peaceful with ourselves and be peaceful with anyone who is around us or in the world, in thoughts, in action, in deeds. So if you say that, if, let's say, for example, we are directly and purposefully the reason for a person not being in peace, then we cannot be at peace. Purposefully, I say, like, of course, sometimes it happens, but we should not think bad in our thoughts, action, and deeds. Thank you, Jai Shri Ram.
Yeah, that is right. So, from a spiritual perspective, we need to focus. Our peace should be agnostic of our external situations and circumstances. But even from a material perspective, um, this whole idea of staying insulated from the rest of the world and being at peace is a concept which will not work out, right? So any country cannot believe that or feel, or they cannot hope to be in a peaceful state if there is a turmoil going on in any other part of the world itself, right? So actually, if you think about it, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that concept is the only way we can strive for a global peace, where we consider ourselves as a big global family as opposed to dividing ourselves in, in boundaries and all that stuff. So think about it. If actually the world could consider itself as one state, then all the expenses that they incur in creating armies, naval fleets, and stuff like that can be disbanded, and that can be actually distributed to the people who do not have, right? There are so many models that can come out of it. But the point is, it will never happen. Why? Because humans, we are selfish. We have greeds, we have vested interests, and that is where it is a utopian concept. It will never work out. Right? We have hatred, we have envy. All those problems are there. Those inner demons we spoke about, until those are conquered, we cannot attain that concept. And can we transform somebody else with that? We cannot. So the best thing is we work on ourselves, and that is why God has sent us here as well. We conquer our inner demons, we attain that peace. Let world be run by who created the world. It's his responsibility, not ours. Okay.
So the way it's possible, जो हम सब बातें कर रहे हैं to control ourselves, but only few of handful of people can do such things, not the entire world, isn't it so?
Is it possible? What? I sorry, I didn't get that part. Is it
To
possible to control ourselves?
control our inner demons, because whatever we see around, people are just going here and there. Only handful of people like saints like Swamiji or Maharaji, they can control their own self. For
So,
ordinary man, people like us, isn't it difficult, or is it out of our reach control?
so Shyamji, if they are not born like that, right? We spoke
Yeah,
about,
true. Yeah.
like Vivekanand ji had said, that if one individual in flesh and blood can attain super consciousness, so can you and I. So they would have worked towards that, right? It's not that. So we are looking at this life, but if somebody has worked towards that, they would have taken that first step and then continued to progress further in that, right? There are so many people who have attained that super consciousness, and that is why we are here trying to align to these principles and trying to make an effort towards that. It is difficult, but not impossible. That is why God has not lost hope on us. And in fact, it is said, every day infinite souls, they realize God. Okay, God
True.
doesn't have a limit, what you call real estate issues, not to accommodate people if all of them become God realized. So it is difficult, but not impossible, right? But and like any other thing, anything that is worthy of our pursuit is difficult. It,
True. Yeah.
yeah. So we cannot,
Got it.
that cannot be an excuse. It is difficult. So, we can't do it. Of course, we have to do it. That is why we are investing time here. So,
How many of us know about these facts? Only a handful of us know these facts also, isn't it?
yeah, so everybody's perfectly situated where they need to be. The day they will make a desire, floodgates will open. Okay, this is how it
Yeah.
works.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
We
Jyoti
should
ji,
feel fortunate if we have access to this knowledge. Let's make the most of it. If
yeah,
somebody
at
else
least
is
we can
not
do
doing
it.
it, maybe, like I told you that example of Buddha, right? I think Abaji had said that Buddha said, yeah, praying for others is also a good thing, right? If you send out good vibes to others. In fact, there's a person called Daniel Peel. He's written that book. Pray to others, send out good things, good vibes to others. It's a good thing. It really builds in positive consciousness, and Buddha had said the same. So
Yeah.
somebody asked Buddha, what made you, what makes you the way you are, and he said 50 lifetimes back I was like you as well. So we don't know. And then everybody, we can't say that somebody is far behind in a spiritual journey. For all you know, they might leapfrog you in one
Yeah.
of the lifetimes, and you could be far behind them. So we cannot judge anybody. Our job is to just focus on our spiritual journey. Most of the
Got it.
opportunities presented. Yeah. Yeah.
Monica ji says, imagine we are so lucky, chosen ones, which means we stand a chance. True.
Yeah, I started imagining. That's true.
So don't leave any stone unturned. Yeah, we'll do that, Monica. Radhe Radhe. Yeah. So shall we take Jyoti ji?
Yes, Jyoti ji.
Jyoti ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Somebody asked for examples of kindness of Radharani. There is not a particular story of her bestowing kindness on anybody in particular, but there is the aspect that Bhagwanji's Radharani's feet are never displayed because her feet bestow so much kindness and mercy on everybody that they are kept covered until for special occasions. And there is the story where after Ras, she's walking and there's pebbles stuck to her feet, and Sri Krishna goes to brush them off. And she says, no, if they have come into my Sharan, then I am going to bestow mercy on them, even if it causes discomfort to me when I'm walking. She is the ultimate compassionate. I'm at a loss of words for her, but she is our mother, and just like a mother, she takes care of us always. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Very beautiful. Thank you, Jyoti ji. Yes, she's an embodiment of love, mercy, compassion, whatever you can talk about, right? In fact, it is said, one day Radharani was sitting and she picked up certain insects. She just picked up like this. She was sitting and she picked some insects in her hand and she looked at them. She said, "Oh my God, did I hurt you?" And he said, okay, to make up for it, let me send you as a human in next life. And then she said, no, okay, let me not only send you as humans, but give you a guru also. Then she said, okay, no, let me send you as humans, give you a guru, and let me become your guru. Okay, so that is a story that I've heard a lot from Maharajji's devotees. So you can just imagine who those insects are, who the guru is, and then how Radharani actually took on a form to become a guru itself. So lest I leave it up to your imagination, but she's an embodiment of complete mercy, love, and compassion. Okay, if she has to kill humans, she would probably have her plenary expansion Durga and say, "You do that job. I just want to bestow love and mercy only." Yes, Pratyusha, really quick. You wanted to add something?
Radhe Radhe, everyone. Radhe Radhe, sir. Yeah, actually, I wanted to say, someone asked about how would you know that you've crossed the birth and rebirth cycle in the world. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita 8.15, they say that having attained me, the great souls are no more subject to rebirth in this world, which is transient and full of misery, because they have attained the highest perfection. So this is the particular sloka. And then how is it relevant to us? If you think about it, we have seen saints, their internal attitude, and then there have been many people who have heard them, from external, but within them, they are at peace. So, are we in that level? That's what we have to look at. And also, there are gods who are carrying weapons. So it's not that people will treat us however way, but then depending upon your abilities and the level that you have attained, you can probably resist that as well, or God will do something upon your,
Yeah, thank you,
standing
Pratyusha.
beside you.
Sure. Good. Thank you, Pratyusha. Yeah, we do have references in Bhagavad Gita as well, which talks about what happens when you become God realized. So thank you for calling that out. Wanted to make a couple of quick announcements. We have what am I talking about? Ram Navami celebrations coming up, and Phoolon Ki Holi has already taken place. Sorry, go ahead. I don't have the complete list. Ram Navami celebrations, right? What else is coming up? And then we have Kirtan retreat coming up with Swamiji. That is something we are all looking forward to. So please come over to Dallas. It's going to be one of the very first of its own kind that we are going to do ever. So excited to welcome Swamiji and attend that retreat. Anything else on there? And fill out the feedback tracker, please, if you could. Anything else?
Regarding the Ram Navami celebrations, I could probably just add, like, it is from 13th to 16th April. And people can also again attend it virtually. And there's going to be a lot of excitement there. Like, we are going to relive the experience of Ayodhya. We are going to, I think I have just looked at the highlights in text, but it's a lot. I mean, Kevat and Shabri's Bhakti, prasangs, we are going to understand and relive those experiences as well. So I think really looking forward to that. And then from 19th to 21st, we will have the Bhakti Kirtan retreat, all of this with Swamiji. So yeah, people in and around Dallas, definitely make sure you're here in person, and others can also participate in both of these virtually. And actually, that reminds me, for Bhakti Kirtan retreat, like I humbly request all the class participants to please register, because everybody can attend. We need to know how many people have registered to make arrangements, both for online and offline arrangements. So it'll be very helpful if everybody registers themselves by now. So that's a request. And one quick comment from Monica D. So regarding the compassion of Radharani, our spiritual elevation, despite we being so materialistic and fallen, is the greatest example of Radharani's compassion. Like Nitinji just said, we are all selfish, etc. But Radharani still does not leave us. So we actually are those insects for sure that were being talked about in the story. And because our Guru Maharaj Ji is an avatar of Radharani only. So yeah.
Great. I'd like to leave you with this feeling how wonderful we are. Okay, if you are able to think deeply about it, and then we can make the most of this opportunity that is presented to us. Shambai, you called that out as well, right? And talking about Radharani, it said that whenever you say Ra, Krishna has no option but to run towards you. Okay, because he's anticipating, in anticipation of you saying they, he's so excited and eager to hear that. But that's a different thing. He'll not manifest as yet. You can't see him. So every time you say Radhe Radhe, you are just calling Krishna in front of you. So that might be a good incentive for us to do Radhe Radhe, right? Maharaj Ji used to say, just do that and you will reap a lot of kalyan and benefit if you do that. So start filling your spaces in the day with chanting of Radhe. It's a very powerful means to purify yourself. So every time you're saying Radhe, you think you're calling Krishna in front of you. He has to, there's no other choice that he has, right? We talk about Krishna, and Krishna, we think about Krishna and we recite Krishna's name, and Krishna recites about Radha, right? So you are reciting Radha's name. Such a huge privilege that is. Great, good discussion we had today. Any other questions? We have 3 more minutes.
Aparna ji says Radhe Radhe. Radha, as we know, is only until Krishna goes to Mathura and becomes king. Young Radha is the only personality we know in during Krishna Lila in Vrindavan. Aparna ji says so.
Right, so another name for Radha Rani is, she was not in our Mathura Leela. She stayed in Barsana, Braj only. But then they are eternal associates, right? Doesn't matter where they are. They are inseparable as such. They're doing Leelas, that's a different thing. And then another name of Radharani is Kishori Ju, because she never ages. How cool it is, right? 16 years old always. And same thing happens with Krishna as well. They're not subject to material laws anyways. So he's called Kishore, and she's called Kishori Ju. So yeah. But these are all divine leelas, they are inseparable, right? We have spoken about this in the previous concept. So we should not analyze it from a mundane standpoint, intellect. In fact, sometimes Radha avatar takes place before Krishna does, and sometimes Krishna avatar takes place before Radha. Sometimes they'll come around the same time. Sometimes they don't get married, sometimes they do get married. In fact, in our Manvantar only, Krishna and Radha got married, and you know who was the Panditji? Not our temple Panditji, it was Brahmaji. Brahmaji was the Panditji who got them married. So these are all divine leelas. We don't have to apply a lot of material intellect around why didn't they get married. Some people say, oh, he was his love interest. They were having an affair. No, they are eternal associates. So we should not apply that with them. But yes, to your point, her leelas were limited to when he left Braj. After that, I think there are some references when they went to Kurukshetra to do the Rath Yatra, brought Krishna back during the solar eclipse. But other than that, I don't think much of it is documented. And if there is, I could check with Swamiji on. Okay, so with that said, please fill out the feedback tracker. It is 9:59. Maybe real quick, somebody wants you to say something before we hand it over to the next session.
I just wanted to add Madhu Chandaji's comment. She said, Swamiji, it's Satchidanand. because he works so tirelessly and hard and managing this big organization despite being detached and helping so many of us who are so ignorant.
Very nice, Madhuchanda. And that is why he was christened as Mukund Anand. Anand is already prefixed with his name, right? Great. So, Swatiji, we have run out of time, unfortunately. We'll take your hand tomorrow. I'll hand it over to Ajay and Sunil Bhai then from here on. Thank you. Radhe Radhe from my side.
Thank you, Nitin Bhai. Thank you, Sandhya ji and Shyamji and everybody else, the entire team, for another wonderful session as always. So, with that being said, I encourage you all to please stay back to our continuing session. So, let's start this recording here.